The Gede are spirits of death and resurrection, though, because they really kind of complete that whole cycle. There's a Gede who's a spider, Gede Zaryen, and the idea being that the spider kind of weaves this web that's kind of like the web like fate, and there's nothing that you can do about it. I got the idea of having a piece of this altar as a special thing for Untor. He's the spirit of drums and drummers. And when Frisner was first initiated this as a teenager, he was probably about 13, 14, in Haiti, they initiated him as an Untorgi, which meant that he was initiated as a drummer for the society.
Frisner's hands, they looked like a working man's hands. I remember there was a time where he hit the drum and I was trying to hit it that same way, and he basically told me to calm down a bit because I don't have the same hand structure and size as he does. I remember one time Frisner tried to teach me how to play the mama drum when my father came to the club one night, and I failed miserably. I knew how to play the pattern, but it just wasn't coming right because I was getting nervous because my dad was there, and Frisner was also making me nervous by saying, listen, your dad is there, so do a good job. And that didn't work out very well, so. Sometimes he makes it a little bit difficult, and he also wants like a lot from you, but he's doing that because he wants you to learn. He is devoted to teaching others his mastery in Haitian drumming. He was devoted, I know that. And I knew that from the first time I saw him too. He was devoted in what he was doing.
You know, it's not the career diplomats who are the ambassadors, it's the artists. Artists, you know, he just went out there with all the enthusiasm that he had, and just, he was going to, show people that it was something else. In an interview he did once with the City Sun, he said, I look at the audience, and, and I decide what to play for them, and if I see that somebody's not too happy, I'll make them happy with my drum. It was a beautiful trip from December 30th through February 29th. It was just a wonderful trip. On that last day that I spent with Frisner, we walked all over Port-au-Prince and saw a lot of places that we hadn't been to for a long time. That night, the last thing he said to me was, "Mat Fini, I'm coming back." And he went up toward an area near the cemetery. Like, we were on one side of the cemetery. On the other side of the cemetery, he had some friends that he would go up to see. And the next morning, I come up looking for him, and his sister said, I haven't seen him since last night. And I went running up there, and I found him in a friend's place, and she just didn't know. This woman, he'd been pounding on her door during the night. And she didn't see that he was really in trouble. And she just let him sleep in her place. And I come by the next morning and see that there is something really wrong because we couldn't wake him up.
She dropped the bomb on us saying that he was in a coma. So that night was pretty sad for the troupe, the club, everyone. A group of us, his past students, the current students, all of us, we were planning to send him some money via Western Union or whichever way they can get it.
I mean, that last 4 days was, I don't know if I can convey how hard it was. It was a different hospital system. Right away I was trying to get him to a different hospital, and we finally did, but because they had better diagnostic tools, they were able to give us the bad news that it was a fatal brain hemorrhage. So, yeah, that was very, very hard. And the trip, though, was a beautiful trip. Right up until then.
When we first found out Frisner passed, we had a few people come down, and a few of his past students and his friends come down to sort of celebrate his life. We laughed, we cried, we ate, we played the drums. It was as if he was there. I think Frisner would have said that he loved himself like he always does. Seeing everyone dance, all his family there, I think he would have been very, very pleased with himself.
We have the memorial that we're doing on June 22nd. And right after that, in fact, I've actually even started on it already, but with the written materials. But I'm going to try to do an archive online, on hard drives, whatever, you know, installed in libraries, but an archive of Frisner's life and work. Audio, video, written materials, and photography. And then there are all our classes. And we have performances. We get engaged for performance, and we tell everybody, we no longer have Frisner Augustin, and they say, well, we'd like to have you anyway. They know that we're in Frisner's tradition. Our master drummer, Frisner Augustin, was with us in Haiti, and Frisner passed away the day that we were supposed to come back. So we're in a time of sadness, but also in a time of celebration of his life.
Morgan, he is the teacher. He is teaching everyone the different patterns just as if Frisner would.
It'll be tough at first, but eventually you'll get it. So you're gonna play.
I think the second person in command would be Steve. And yeah, those are the two people we now rely on to sort of teach us what Frisner taught them years ago. I think they are definitely doing him justice. Frisner is in heaven saying he loves himself.
Somebody new coming in, they might just be floored by, they might say, wow, this is great. And they're feeling his presence, but maybe without knowing it. But then as they get to know about us more, we certainly want to talk about him. We want to continue talking about him. And when we get the archive together, we'll be sending people to it. Seeing all those images and hearing the sounds, and, the spirit will go on.
I don't think Frisner ever stopped living within the music. He will always be within the music.